Hello, 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 fight fans around the world. It is me, your host, Alec Carr. Right now, I'm solo, but Monique and Dustin will be joining me shortly. Um, it is good to be back. It's been a couple of weeks. We all had some other stuff going on that we kind of had to take a little bit of a break. But we are back and we are excited. And because we've been off, we got a lot to talk about today. So I can't wait until my Monique and Dustin jump on with us, so that we can really get into it and dive deep into some of these topics. And we got a low key great fucking card to talk about this weekend. UFC Orlando. I'm super excited for it, and I know all the fight fans are. Before we get into all of that, though, as always, we got to talk about our sponsors. So, where, guys, I say this every time. If you're like me and you're in your 30s, but you want to work out like you're in your 20s, you better check out rxhemp.com. I use this stuff. It's great. Carlos Condit, former UFC legend, uses this stuff. It is absolutely incredible. I go to the gym, I work out, I hurt because I work out way too hard, and then I rub this stuff on, and it makes me feel so much better. So, guys, please go on and check out rxhemp.com and use rxhemp-usn to get 10% off your entire order. Also, guys, make sure you visit mybookie.ag today. We got, like I said, a great fight card this weekend. We got, NBAs in full swing. We got all kinds of stuff going on in the sports world, NFL. So make sure you visit mybookie.ag today and use promo code USN100 for a 100% sign up bonus. That's right, 100% sign up bonus. And make sure you place your bets with them. And then just to do a couple of plugs, guys, you can follow me as always at Alec Carr MMA for all my off the wall opinions. I was getting into it since we haven't been streaming. I've been getting my voice out there because you guys all know that I can't be quiet. So I've been getting my voice out there in other ways on Twitter, getting into a bunch of arguments that we're going to get into one probably today. But you guys can follow me there for all my off-the-wall opinions. Also, make sure you follow Monique and Dustin. And also, guys, make sure you're following Unwrapped Sports Network. It's what brings us together. It's what makes Fights Unwrapped possible. It's a great sports network that has all kinds of different podcast streams, Discord, articles, just doing all kinds of stuff. We got people from a little bit older like me down to the college years, announcers. We got all kinds of people into the sports network. So make sure you're following Unwrapped Sports Network on Twitter and like and subscribe to us on YouTube at the Unwrapped Sports Network channel. And make sure you hit the little bell so you get the reminders of when the show's coming up. All right, we're going to jump right into it. We have a little bit of breaking news. Not that we're breaking it, but it's kind of new news. It just came out about an hour ago. Charles Oliveira and Do Bronx was offered before the Volkanovski Islam fight, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. Before that fight got officially made, Do Bronx was apparently offered an immediate rematch to Islam at UFC 283, which he turned down. There's not a lot of news about why he turned down. His coach is saying it's emotional stress. He's been through a lot in the past year. This is, he goes on to say he's faced this is a guy that's faced all the top 5 contenders in a year's time. When you put it into those terms, when his coach said that, it really kind of puts into terms what the kind of run that Do Bronx went on this past year and what we got to experience. We saw a champ run through the top 5, pretty easily run through the top 5 of the hardest division maybe the hardest division in the entire sport. So that being said, there's been some backlash. Some people saying that he shouldn't have turned out a fight. If you get a chance to get your belt back, you take it. How could you? You're supposed to be the guy that fights anywhere, anytime. You're supposed to be. It's all fucking nonsense. Listen, this guy's been through the ringer this year. He keeps fighting these Dustin Poiriers, Justin Gaethjes, Tony Ferguson's, Michael Chandler's, Islam. He keeps fighting all the guys that he's not supposed to beat, and he beat them all except for Islam, and gotten no love. Went into every fight as an underdog for some reason. And now people are giving him shit for wanting to take a little bit of a longer break than a couple of months before his next fight. You guys know that I have no qualm with taking controversy, so I'm just going to come out and say it. All the people giving him a hard time for taking a break can go fuck off. Like I said, that guy's been through the ringer. He's done so much for the sport in the past year. He had some huge fights quietly. Even though people say he's not a PPV draw, has been quietly a great PPV draw, drawing over $500,000 per 500,000 buys per PPV this year, this past year. That's insane. What he's been able to do quietly, and then just again the run that this guy has fucking been on is crazy. Just crazy. It blows my mind. So I just got to give a shout out to Du Bronx and say, take your break, man. After Islam destroys Volkanovski, come on back and then go back for that belt. I don't know if you're gonna get it, but come on back afterwards and let's see if you can actually contend again against Islam, which is gonna be a really tough fight. Doesn't matter who it is. All right, we're moving on to our fight announcement. We have Henry Cejudo versus Aljamain Sterling. Apparently, Allah Ali has said that this fight is happening. It's been verbally confirmed, and that the paperwork has been signed. Said that a couple of days ago. There's been no proof of that happening. Aljamain Sterling has had no comment on this, as Aljamain Sterling usually does, as he is the definition of a paper champ, and we all know it. With his most recent victory coming off of a guy that shouldn't have even been in the fight because TJ Dillashaw could only use one arm. So, again, Aljamain Sterling continues his paperweight reign, paper champ reign, and right now has a very difficult matchup, if this is true, in front of him in Henry Cejudo. Hopefully one of my co-hosts will jump on soon because I really want to get their comments on this fight. But Henry Cejudo is a fucking awful matchup for Aljamain Sterling. You're talking about high level wrestling, maybe one of the best wrestlers in UFC history. Somebody that's been granted had his time off, but has been really working on his craft this entire time. He's been coaching, he's been training, he's been doing all kinds of stuff with some of the top fighters. Then we're talking about Henry Cejudo, the fucking bantamweight, the flyweight, the whatever you want to call him, weight class, who trains and wrestles with heavyweights, is about to go and fight Aljamain Sterling. I hope this is true because I think Henry Cejudo, even with his two and a half years off, maybe 3 years, I don't know exactly what it is off the top of my head, I think he still destroys Aljamain Sterling. I don't think Aljamain Sterling stands a chance against this guy. Aljamain Sterling is kind of a wrestler. I shouldn't say that. He is a high-level wrestler, just not even close to Henry Cejudo. Aljamain Sterling's a good striker, but Cejudo has proven that he can get on the inside of people. Where Henry Cejudo destroyed a healthy, drugged up TJ Dillashaw. So and also Henry Cejudo beat the great mighty Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson. So, and Aljamain Sterling, I'm sorry, just doesn't touch any of those guys. Especially drugged up. I'm saying drugged up Dillashaw, because drugged up Dillashaw is different than the Dillashaw we all know right now. So we will see what happens with this. Hopefully, Cejudo has commented on it. He said that he did that this fight is happening as well. So we'll see what happens. Sterling's doing what Sterling does, and is trying. It seems like trying to avoid the big fight, the scary fight, the one he doesn't want to do. He'd much rather have the easy fight than go against the tough competition. I'm still pissed off about Petr Yan on how he handled that last fight. He gave him that first round, and that ultimately lost him the fight, even though he won probably every single round after that. So Sterling's doing his dodging game. He's not making comment. He's not talking about it. So we'll see what happens here again. I'm very excited for it. You guys all know that I love Henry Cejudo. I know he's the king of cringe. I know he says some fucking off-the-wall shit, but I also know it's all an act. I know that he doesn't mean any of it. I know that he's joking. He's talked about it. He's even said at moments, let me put my act aside and be honest with you. I can beat the shit out of Aljamain Sterling. And we got Dustin jumping in right now at the perfect time. Dustin, what is up, my guy? It's been way too long. We are here.
You've been ducking and dodging me and shit.
I wish, man. I wish I was ducking and dodging, because that means I wouldn't be fucking working like a goddamn maniac.
You're trying to fucking add a $200,000 fucking vehicle in my fucking ass, and yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, so I was just ranting and raving a little bit about this fight, quote unquote, announcement. Sterling hasn't made any comments on it, but Ali, Cejudo's manager, Ali, the great Ali, the one that treats his fighters all like shit and steals money from them, has commented and said that this fight is a done deal. Cejudo commented also not really saying it's a done deal, but pretty much agreeing with Ali on it. We'll see what happens. My theory is Cejudo, I think if he's in good shape, that's the biggest thing, because he's been out of the game for 2.5 years, maybe 3 at this point. I think he can win this fight. We're talking about some of the highest level wrestling we've ever seen in UFC history in Henry Cejudo. Aljamain Sterling is a great wrestler himself. We had the monkey got on here the other week telling us that Aljamain Sterling is probably a better wrestler than Henry Cejudo, which we all kind of disagree with.
He said in MMA, not on the mat.
Yeah. Yes, and we love the monkey god. So I hope he's not watching this going, what the fuck, guys? But I think Cejudo is the better wrestler. I think Cejudo takes this. I mean, a lot of people are saying he's taking too much time off. He won't be. Cejudo, yes, he hasn't been in the octagon in a while, but he's been training, coaching. This is a guy that trains wrestling still with fucking heavyweights. He's been training wrestling with John Jones and a bunch of other heavyweights. Like, he's not just sitting on the couch. So I think Cejudo wins this fight, and maybe I'm being biased just because Aljamain Sterling continues his reign of being the paper champ. But we will see what happens. Dustin, what do you think about this?
I don't know why people are saying that Cejudo can't win, because I'm going to tell you what. When it comes to wrestling between Aljamain and Cejudo, I hate to tell people, but Cejudo has a better base of gravity. He's a shorter guy. When you try to go take him down, his center of gravity is a lot more stiff. He doesn't have long legs. He can sprawl out. Now, Aljamain could probably grab single legs here and there, but knowing how fast and knowing how good of a wrestler Cejudo is, getting him down with the single leg, good luck. I mean, to be real. When it comes to the striking, the only thing Cejudo is really got to worry about is Aljamain's length. But when it comes to that, I don't think this is going to be a length fight. I'm just going to be honest. I think Cejudo's going to get inside. Cejudo's going to duck. Cejudo's going to feint like he always does. He's going to use his wrestling. He's going to be an MMA fighter because that's what he turned himself into. He came from an Olympic wrestler to MMA fighter. And that's one of the most dangerous guys ever. Look at Bo Nickel. He's probably going to be one of the most dangerous guys coming up. So, yeah. And he already is. He already proved it. He's not Bo Nickel. He proved it. He's already a double champ. He's already proved it. Yeah. So, therefore, Cejudo has a way better shot. And when people keep saying that he's out of shape, dude, okay, man. These guys, I don't know if you guys know anything about body fat percentage, but it's very hard for any man, I don't give a fuck what age you are, to walk around at 10% body fat, okay? If you do it, it's certainly unhealthy, and it's very fucking terrible for your health. Nobody does that. Nobody does it, except fighters when they're about to fight. Nobody walks around at fucking 10 to 5% all year. That doesn't happen. I hate to fucking tell people that, but it don't happen. So therefore, Cejudo, if they give him an 8-month, let's say they sign it for, the summer. Dude, it's only November. He's got like fucking 7 months, get in shape. He can get a full camp of like about 3 months. He's ready. He'll be ready. I know he'll be ready. The only thing is about Cejudo, and I hate Sterling way more than I hate Cejudo. So the only thing that Cejudo, I'm telling you, has got to worry about with Sterling is he is a better grappler than he probably has faced in the UFC, and he's bigger, and he's a lot longer. So we'll see. TJ didn't want to wrestle with him. You know, there's a lot of guys who didn't want to wrestle with Cejudo. They stood up.
I'll give you bigger. I don't know if he's a better grappler than Demetrius Johnson. I mean, maybe
with his size, he's more of a problem.
Okay, yes, I'll give you that. Yes.
So, like, if you gave Demetrius Johnson his limbs, no. But since he has those limbs, he is a little bit more of a threat than Johnson at that point. It's just but Cejudo, I see Cejudo knocking him the fuck out. I don't know anybody else. I see a TKO.
See, that's what I keep going back to. Everyone keeps forgetting what Cejudo knocked out fucking Dopey and TJ Dillashaw. Can we just put some respect on Henry Cejudo's name? We went on one of the most fucking ridiculous runs we've ever seen in UFC history, becoming double champ.
After he got over that hump of DJ, bro, he went the fuck off. I mean, it's just the truth.
Yeah, I like it seems like people have forgotten how good Henry Cejudo is because, and I think part of it is his fault. He became the king of cringe, you know, calling out Amanda Nunes and like stuff like that. Like, I think people they got soured on his whole show that he puts on because he's admitted it's a show. He doesn't mean 90% of the shit he says.
Cejudo's doing it correctly. He's talking shit. He's on social media. He's building it up, and when Aljamain Sterling and him fight, it's actually gonna sell. Look at that.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's gonna be the best-selling Aljo fight ever. It probably does 700, 750.
Guarantee over 500. Guarantee over 500.
Which I wanna bring this up real quick. You know, I don't even really need comment on it. UFC 281 has reportedly breaking the million PPD by mark. We'll see when official numbers come out next week, but that's a big fucking deal. I mean,
you're talking about Adesanya against Pereira, correct?
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Because everybody would have seen Adesanya get knocked the fuck out. That's why everybody.
But I mean, I just wanted to bring it up because it is a big deal. The preliminary numbers came out. They're saying that they can verify 875,000 and are expecting for over 200,000 more to come in as the numbers keep coming in from the international buys. So that's a big deal. I mean, they put PFL to shame, obviously, who won't publish their numbers from their embarrassing, though very entertaining PPV last week.
First of all, it was entertaining. I'll tell people I didn't buy it, but I watched some of those clips. Those fucking title fights were savage. I will say that.
Oh my God, it was super entertaining. But I'm not paying $50 for PFL, man. I'm just not.
Here's the problem So here's the problem with PFL pay-per-view, because here's a problem. It's a tournament style. So when
Yeah.
the champions are finally, when the championship fights are set, dude, you only have 30 days. You have 30 fucking days to market. That's not enough. That's not
Yeah.
enough. You have to
And
have.
and which, by the way, I was running the numbers before the show. 281 did about 1.3 million more payouts than PFL did.
Well,
Um,
PFL's main stick is that if you're a champ, you win $1 million. I mean, it's $1
right,
million.
and they had $3 million winners that, or four.
They had
Three or
six.
four.
They had six. All the divisions. All the divisions fought that night.
Anyway, this is not a topic we were going to talk about today. We do have to move on. Hopefully Monique joins us soon, because I don't really want to talk about the next two topics without her here. But we have to go into one of them. I will just add real quickly. It's not a topic, but I will just add, Dustin. John Jones eyeing Francis Ngannou in March. You think it's going to happen?
I'll believe it when I fucking see it. I don't believe shit, because Francis Ngannou is flaky as fuck.
Did you see what GSP said about John Jones?
No.
The GSP said he's huge. He's the most solid human being he's ever grappled with in his life, like physically, just solid. And that he's probably the scariest thing the UFC has ever seen. He apparently weighs 270 now, Dustin.
You know what? People are really underestimating Francis, though, dude. Francis is a fucking animal, and people really keep underestimating that dude.
Listen. Francis was able to wrestle Cyril Gane and surprise the world by his wrestling. Let's not pretend, though, all of a sudden he has the grappling of John Jones. All right, that's the biggest thing. Could Francis Ngannou hit him with a clean shot and knock him out? Yes, I firmly believe that. And it's more than a puncher's chance. It is. I'm not saying that he is just a puncher's chance. He absolutely could set up that uppercut or that overhand that he loves to throw perfectly and seal victory. If that fight goes to the ground, though, he's fucking dead in the water. There's nothing he can do to a 270-pound John Jones.
Here's my theory about John Jones, because I've watched John Jones for a decade, man. I'll tell you, John Jones is not very bouncy. He's not very elusive. When he gets into, like, I wouldn't say he's elusive. I mean, he'll slip and he'll do it, but he's not bouncy. He's not like super athletic around the octagon. He doesn't like run around. He likes to stay a little bit stagnant. He likes to stay a little bit in the pocket. If he fights like that against Ngannou and gets in exchanges, and Ngannou lands a clean-ass left hook, I'm going to tell you right now, people underestimate Francis Ngannou's monster, ogre-like fucking ability. And I'm telling you, if he hits John Jones...
You're right. But you're talking about unmotivated John Jones. You're talking about John Jones versus Dominic Reyes, John Jones versus Anthony Smith.
He took shots when he was motivated. He's taken some shots even when he was motivated. So it's...
Yeah, I'll just say this, though. John Jones has a 3-inch reach advantage on Francis Ngannou, which is just fucking insane to think about, that he's stepping up in weight class and still has the longest reach in the entire division.
Well, no one said he wasn't a physical freak. I mean, the dude is. When it comes to anatomy, it's ridiculous.
It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, we'll see if that fight happens. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think. I think Francis Ngannou is going to ask for like $25 million. He just announced. The reason I wanted to bring it up is because he just announced that he's boxing and he doesn't care what the UFC does to him, which would be take away his entire boxing purse because he's not allowed to just go box.
Can I understand something about the UFC, though? Here's my thing about it. I know everybody gawks at, he shouldn't get that much. I'm going to be real. If this fight happens this year in 2023, the next year coming, that will be the biggest pay-per-view event to ever exist in UFC history. I'm telling you that right now. It will beat Conor McGregor. It probably will beat Khabib. It probably is going to beat Khabib and Conor. It's probably going to beat Khabib and Conor.
I would say it's guaranteed to be second place and might surpass Connor.
You could record me and put this down, write that shit down, take a picture. I don't give a fuck. I guarantee you, if this happens, if this contract gets signed, I'm telling you, it will beat Khabib and Connor.
Can Dana, if you're listening to this or if you're watching this, which you're not, but if this somehow makes its way to you, can you please, for the love of God, put John Jones on the same card as Conor McGregor? Can we please just make that happen? Can we please just have John Jones versus Francis Ngannou and have the co-main be Conor McGregor versus pick somebody? Can we
I hope they put Conor against Michael Chandler. That's who I want to see him against.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who it is. Can we just please? Because I need both of the best shit talkers in the world talking on the same press conference, and they're like, what a lot of people don't realize this is they're like really good friends. So
they are.
Destroy the entire fucking panel, and it will be great. It will be the most entertaining pre-fight thing we've ever seen, ever. I don't care what anybody says. When
Conor comes back to the UFC, it's going to be a great fucking day.
Oh my God, we'll have to talk about him next week, but he's fucking huge, dude.
That boy looks like he done fucking swallowed a balloon. That's what that motherfucker looks like.
He's fucking huge. And I don't care what anyone says. I don't think he might be on something, but anyway, different topic. It doesn't look unnatural to me as somebody who's done powerlifting and bodybuilding.
It's been like a fucking year. Like, you can add that much muscle. It can happen.
Yeah. And somebody who has as broad shoulders as him, he's an easy gainer. Just I can tell by his body type. Anyway, I could break it down for an hour about why that's natural and not unnatural. But anyway, we got two more huge topics to talk about, so we're gonna jump into it. We're gonna do this one first because I'm hoping Monique can come in before the next one. Khamzat reportedly rejected Alex Pereira's fight offer to fight at 205 in February. I'm really pissed off about this. Just so you know, Dustin, because what actually happened is Khamzat said, "I want to fight you in January or February at 185." What Pereira came back and said, "No, I'll fight you in February at 205," which Khamzat has never fought at light heavyweight in his life. He's never been up at 205 and never wants to be. I don't care what people say. It's too big for him as a human being. Could he fight at 205? Sure, but he'd be the smallest 205 in the entire division.
That'd be like probably 5 pounds under his walking leg.
Yeah. So it's like, and that's what's really got me pissed off about this whole thing, because Pereira Pereira rejected the offer. Listen, was Khamzat trying to make the headlines by offering it? Absolutely. Would Pereira be a dumbass to accept a fight after just winning a championship in a few months? He would be a moron if he said, "Sure, let's go ahead and do it." What he should have done was come back and negotiate and said, "Why not March or April, man? Let's do it in March or April." That would have been calling Khamzat's bluff and saying, "Sure, you want to fight at 185? Let's do it in March or April. I won't be ready in February." Khamzat would have had to say yes. He would have had to. He wouldn't have had a choice. So, like, the idea that Khamzat turned down Pereira's fight offer, it wasn't a realistic offer. Khamzat wants the belt. He doesn't want to do a random 205 fight without a belt on the line. That doesn't make any sense for him at this point in his career. He wants a belt and he wants a big payday. That's something he's been clear about since he's come onto this scene. Is he wants belts and he wants paydays. That is it. And so for Pereira to say, "I'll fight you at 205 without the belt on the line," of course he's going to say no. What the fuck did you expect? Anyway, Dustin, I have lots more thoughts about this, so I'm going to throw it over to you. How do you feel about this whole thing, how it's broken down, how MMA Twitter is saying that Alex Pereira is agreeing with Alex Pereira blanketly, and MMA Twitter is saying that Alex Pereira would beat him at 185 anyway, which is a fucking joke to me, which we'll circle back after you're done with your comments, and I'll give my opinion on when this fight actually happens, what will happen. Go ahead, Dustin.
When it comes to him beating him at 185, again, that's questionable. That's depending on what Khamzat does. I mean, that's depending. And first of all, if Khamzat's a smart human being, he is not going to stand there and strike with Alex Pereira. Because if he does, not only is he going to end up like Izzy, he's going to end up worse. I'm going to say that right now. Izzy's a pretty big fucking dude, and Alex Pereira was putting him on skates. Honestly, can I tell you something about Alex Pereira striking? He is a scary motherfucker. Like, dude, when he punched Israel in the face, this is a PPV. I watched this shit live. Mm-hmm. Whenever he landed that left hand on Izzy's face, anytime in the fight, in a crowd yelling, you could hear the leather smacking off Izzy's fucking face. Like, I was so astounded by how hard that motherfucker hits. Like, I was like, I hear the leather. I hear the leather bouncing off his jaw every time he lands it. I'm just like, fuck. Like, literally, dude, he hits so fucking hard. Like, I'm just like, dude, you have to be a fucking monster not to get knocked out by this cat. But it's just like, when it comes to Khamzat, I hate Khamzat, but I'm gonna sit my non-biased shit aside. So I'm gonna be non-biased about it. If he wrestles Alex Pereira, it's over. That's just the fucking point of it. But the only problem he's gonna have with wrestling Alex Pereira is if he shoots from far away, if he's irresponsible, if he doesn't get range correct, if he doesn't stay away from the kicks, he doesn't stay away from the punches that are probably going to shoot across the ring, because Khamzat don't got shit on that reach. Alex Pereira could hit him across the fucking octagon. So, but if I was to sit over here and like pretend like I thought Alex was going to win that fight, I'd probably be lying to you, because Khamzat's going to wrestle. He's never proved otherwise to me. The only person he didn't wrestle too bad was Gilbert Burns. And that's because Burns was, dude, honestly, Burns is very high level when it comes to grappling. Number two, Gilbert Burns was socking him in his fucking mouth. So it's kind of hard.
And he was taken.
So therefore, it's pretty hard for him to beat Alex Pereira when it comes to if he doesn't get inside. But in my wholeheartedness, I think Khamzat's going to be smart and try to take him down and try to get in the clinch, try to get close. So we'll see. But when it comes to Alex Pereira with that 205, no shit, Khamzat's not going to be 205, dude. 205 is fucking huge for him. Like, Alex Pereira wouldn't have to even cut weight barely. Like, Alex Pereira would probably come in full shape, probably not even having to eat. He probably could eat steak and bring his ass in at 205. He'd probably eat steak and some veggies and come in at 205. So fuck no one wants to fight Alex Pereira at 205 when it's not your natural weight, because he doesn't have to diet. This motherfucker's eating good. So fuck that. You know, he's not dehydrated. You are. So therefore, he's not going to go up to 205. And Khamzat wants a belt. Here's my thing about Khamzat. Dude, you need to be professional and, you know, sit down somewhere and shut the fuck up. All this gangster shit you're trying to do outside of the fucking octagon, all this dumb shit, you're missing weight like a fucking retard.
Whoa. I'm interrupting you. I'm interrupting you on that one. We're putting an asterisk up to that missing weight. First of all, he was told by a doctor who no one called for that showed up to his door, which doesn't happen, has been verified by many MMA fighters and UFC fighters in particular. Does not happen. Was told by a doctor to stop cutting. And then on top of that, there's the whole Nate Diaz. That fight was never going to sell anything. Don't bring that up right now.
Him fighting Kevin Holland sells more than Diaz? Like, someone's got to explain that to me.
Diaz doesn't sell anymore. He just got dropped by the UFC. Diaz doesn't sell anymore, man. He doesn't.
First of all, his contract ended. But Holland ain't.
But no one gives a fuck about Diaz. His gimmick is grown. Even fight fans are tired of it, man.
No one gives a fuck about Kevin Holland.
That's not true. Kevin Holland has a huge following right now.
He can't win a goddamn fight. Ain't no one over here scared of Kevin Holland in the UFC. No one. No,
No,
not
but
one.
his following is huge, and he has casuals. That's the thing. He brings casuals.
I don't know who the fuck's a fan of Kevin Holland. I don't. If you are, you're mistaken because he can't win a legit fucking fight. I know what to tell you, but he fucking can't. But anyway, when it comes to that, Kazmat, I think, is becoming a dickhead. He used to be disciplined. He used to be a fucking monster. He used to be a killer. You're becoming undisciplined. You can't fucking stay at a weight class. You're fucking bouncing around trying to fight a guy. Why didn't you try to go? Why weren't you mention that shit when Izzy was champ? So now you're just gonna mention.
He was. He called out Izzy like every day, man.
But like I said, the talks ain't fucking. The real talk didn't come in until Alex Pereira has the belt. So therefore, here's the dumb shit with me with the Cosmo, bro. Be professional, pick a fucking weight class, and stop trying to go straight to a goddamn belt. 170, you could have had the belt. You could have already fucking fought for it. You already had an argument. So why are you jumping to 180 to fight Alex Pereira? Because you see it as an easy win. That's the only reason you think.
Let's talk about this real quick because I disagree with that. Of course, he sees it as an easy win. The entire actual MMA fan base, the guys like you and I, the guys like the people like Monique who actually know the sport, all know that Khamzat at 185 would absolutely, probably. I'm calling submission second round against Pereira just because I'm giving Pereira the respect of the first round. Just to be honest, it's a pure respect thing. It's not because I think he could actually last the round with Khamzat on the ground because I don't. But out of respect for him and what we just saw, I will give him a round. Khamzat Chimaev is one the better. He's the better, more well-rounded fighter. He just is. The 205 thing is a fucking joke, and Pereira knew it. He knew it. That's why he did it. He doesn't want to fight Khamzat at 185. He wants to fight Izzy again, beat him again, and then retire. That's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to fight anyone else. And I don't blame him. He's 35 years old. He's probably one of the most, would you say, one of the most decorated kickboxers in the history of the sport of kickboxing.
Just a double champion glory.
Right, which doesn't happen. So like let's not like he's 35. Let's stop pretending like Alex Pereira's reign is just starting.
He's probably one of the most decorated fighters to exist.
Yeah, for sure. So, and I give all the respect to him in the world, but he doesn't want to fight anybody else but Izzy, and that became apparent when he said, "I'll fight you at 205." Because he doesn't want to give up the belt unless he's fighting Izzy because he knows he can beat Izzy again. And if he beats Izzy twice in the UFC, it solidifies him as better than Izzy.
You know what? If he was younger, if he wasn't 35, let's just say if he was what? If he was about 20, he was my age. I'm about 27, almost 28. If he was my age and he trained with Glover Teixeira for the next 3 years, he could, if he was not irresponsible like Izzy. Izzy's been training MMA for 5 fucking years and he still can't grapple to save his fucking life, which is stupid. I still don't get it. But literally, if he was disciplined enough to learn grappling and learn the basics and learn how to mix it in, I think Alex Pereira would be a fucking jeez, man. Like,
yeah, he would be terrifying. And here's my other point with this whole thing that people keep saying that Pereira beats him at 185. If Izzy can manage to take you down, if Izzy can,
Cosmos up.
Yeah, could you imagine what a world-class wrestler is going to do to you? I mean, Izzy, those takedowns, Dustin, I've watched the fight 3 times. The takedown he landed was the most embarrassing takedown I've ever seen in my life. It was horrible. The technique was terrible. It was lazy. And then when he got him up against the cage, every time he would try to change levels, he didn't know how to change levels, Dustin. He tried to change levels. Dustin, I kid you not. Go watch the fight again. Izzy tried to change levels while Pereira had underhooks. It's physically impossible to change levels when a guy has underhooks. You can't do it. And Izzy's sitting there flailing around trying to change levels. So if that guy can manage to take you down once, Hazmat's he's gonna put you in deep waters, and you're not gonna be able to get up, and you're gonna tap out. It's just what's gonna happen. I'm sorry, and this whole thing with Pereira going up there and being able to go up and destroy Yuri Prochazka, like, what are we talking about here? Yuri's one of the most well-rounded MMA fighters in the entire sport right now. We saw his grappling capabilities against one of the best grapplers the UFC has ever seen. And you're gonna tell me that Pereira's gonna go up there and he's gonna knock Yuri out in the first round. Fuck off. Yuri wants to fight Izzy one more time and retire. That's his game plan. He doesn't want to fight anyone else. All right, Monique. Hello.
Hey.
Welcome. Welcome.
Hey.
We got to move on, but I want to get your thoughts on this whole Hazmat Pereira thing. Pereira claiming he didn't turn down the fight, but changed the rules of of the fight offer, which is turning down the fight. What do you think about this whole thing?
I mean, I think Khamzat, I think he's a little bit scared of Pereira, to be honest with you. I think that, he doesn't underestimate his abilities, so that's a good thing, obviously. I can see, Pereira, I think he changed the rules on the weight, I think it is, which is, 205 or something like that, so, yeah, I think that, it's something that is... for Khamzat, it just wouldn't be a good fight for him, because he knows that he's gonna have to face one of the best strikers in the world, pretty much. And yeah, that's what I think. What did you think about this, Alec?
Yeah, and I just think it's ridiculous for Pereira to even offer the fight at 205. And that's what Dustin and I were talking about. Hazmat probably walks around. What do you think? Probably 215.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even a little bit less, because if he's fighting at 170, he has to walk around at less. So I the whole idea that he's going to go up to 205 when Pereira is going to be cutting from 230 to 40. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't, and there's no belt on the line. So if there's no belt on the line, why is Hazmat doing that at this point in his career? All right, good. I'm glad we all agree that was fucking bullshit what Pereira tried to pull. Anyway.
But Pereira tried to pull it only because it was a time limit. He didn't say he would ever do it at 185. He said because of the time limit that he exactly had, he can't get to 185 in that period.
And that's fine. That's fine. I agree with you. I said it in the first part that Pereira would have been stupid if he tried to fight again in January or February. He would have been dumb. But that being said, why come back at 205? Why not just say, let's do it in March and April? Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you why. And Dustin, it's what I already said. He wants to fight Izzy, and he wants to fight no one else. He wants to beat Izzy again and retire, known as the guy that was better than Israel Adesanya. That's all he cares about. He's made that very clear. He beat Izzy twice in kickboxing, and then followed Izzy over to the UFC after Izzy was being called the best kickboxer of all time, and he took that personally, came over to the UFC, and just so everybody knows, the UFC had made multiple offers to Alex Pereira before. So he turned them all down, but once Izzy was named the greatest kickboxer of all time, Pereira accepted and said, nah, fuck that. I've beaten him twice. I'm going to go beat him 2 more times just to prove a point. And that's his game plan, and that's okay. I got no problem with it. And like I said before, Monique has said this, you missed it. He's 35 years old. Of course that's what he wants to do. That's all I care about. Anyway, we are moving on to the last headline. Islam versus Volk. And this is one I asked to be on this because we've been off for 2 weeks, guys?
Yeah.
So we never got to talk about this fight announcement. Which only apparently happened because it just came out. I don't know if you guys saw this, but I talked about it at the top of the show. Do Bronx turned down an immediate rematch in Rio for Islam. That's why this fight was made so quickly. And he turned it down. And his manager put it perfectly, and I didn't think about this because I was pissed when I read the headline, but then I read the actual quote. He was like, "You guys do realize that Do Bronx has fought in the past year all top 5 guys and beaten them all. He deserves a little bit of a break." I was like, that makes sense. That's fair. I personally think this fight, and the reason I want to talk about it is because I'm getting really, really angry at the disrespect that Islam's receiving. Islam is a guy that just made a fool out of Do Bronx, who just beat, like I just said, just beat all top 5 guys in the 155 division. Now MMA Twitter and MMA fans are acting like the lightweight division's weak.
Mm-hmm.
What? Like this is literally arguments I've gotten into. Somebody told me that Do Bronx's fights aren't that big of a deal. All those guys are washed up. Did you watch Dustin Poirier, Michael Chandler? Did you watch Justin Gaethje, like Dustin Poirier? Like, what are you talking about? All these guys are washed, and he beat all of them. So listen. I understand that a lot of people really love Volk. Volk won me over in the last Max Holloway fight. He brought me back, right? He's a great fighter. But I just don't see a path to victory for Alexander Volkanovski in this fight. I don't see it. I wish I would. I really do, because I'm going to be rooting for him in this fight. I wish I saw a path to victory. He might be the better striker. Might be.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah,
he might be the better striker. But Islam is much bigger than him, and he is a much better wrestler than him. And Volk can wrestle, don't get me wrong. He can wrestle, but not like Islam. And if people want to keep throwing out, well, before Do Bronx, he only beat Bobby Green and Hooker and all these. We all know, everybody knows when you watch Islam, and I tried to say this right before the Do Bronx fight, and you guys can verify this. I try to warn everybody, don't discount Islam's talent because of the talent he's fought against. If you evaluate Islam's pure MMA talent, he's one of the best fighters in the entire UFC. Point blank. It doesn't matter who he's fought. He just is. He can strike, he can wrestle, and he strikes better than Khabib. He doesn't wrestle quite as good as Khabib, but he strikes better than Khabib ever did. I can't see where Volk is going to have to be able to get inside, which he relies on his threat of wrestling to do against other opponents. He doesn't have that threat against Islam. So I don't know how he gets inside on him. I want your comments, honestly, because I won't tell me I'm wrong. Just tell me I'm wrong, because I feel like I'm going crazy here because everyone keeps calling me stupid and fair weather, which I know to not be true. So, Monique, let's go over to you. What do you think?
No, I agree with you. I think that Volk has a major disadvantage in this fight. Besides his his height and his size differential. Just the fact that, like you said, he might be the better striker. That might be a saving grace. But the fact that he has to rely on his wrestling to go inside all the time is not gonna work, because Islam, is just the better grappler in that case, and he can strike. I think it's gonna be dangerous for Volk. Here's the thing. I don't think it's gonna be like super dominant. I think Volk is a tough guy. I think he's gonna be able to get out of situations that Islam's gonna put him in, but at the same time, Islam's just gonna use his wrestling, use his sambo to pretty much win. And I can see like a submission, to be honest with you, with Islam. But so I'm agree with you, Alec. I don't know what everybody else is saying, to be honest with you, because I think they're just huge Volk fans, and that's fine. Everybody's biased in their own way. But yeah, those are my comments when it comes to this fight.
Dustin?
This is a 5-rounder. It's a 5-rounder. I'm gonna say that right now. And Islam's not Khabib, so I don't think he's gonna approach this fight like Khabib does. I don't think he's ever approached the fight exactly how Khabib does. If he was Khabib fighting Volkanovski, he would try to dominate Volkanovski in the wrestling. I doubt he's going to do that. I'm just going to be real. I don't think he's going to shoot. I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to take his time a little bit. I don't think he's going to try to dominate Volkanovski when it comes to the wrestling. What I think is really going to happen is the first couple rounds are going to be stand up. And I think Volkanovski is going to he's going to tag him a few times. I think Islam's going to tag him a few times. And when it gets down to the third, the fourth round, that's when the championship wrestling is going to start coming in. And Volk is hella resilient. And that submission, I don't think he's getting Volk in a submission. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think he's submitting him. I don't think that Volk's submitting him. I don't think he's going to knock out Volk. I don't think Volk's going to knock out Islam. I think it's going to come down to the championship rounds, probably in the fourth or fifth. And basically, it's going to become a fight of who's going to want it more. And it is what it is. And we'll see who the better man is. I'm a fan of both of these guys. I love Volk. I love Islam. I think if I had to pick a winner right now, like just off my head, I'd go with Islam by decision. But Volk, it's gonna be a fucking fight. Like it's gonna be a fucking fight. When these guys see each other in the octagon, it's not gonna be short. It's gonna be a hell raise in that octagon when those two meet. And Khabib is right. And Khabib is right because he told Islam that Volkanovski is a much worse challenge than DeBrunks. That's literally what Khabib told him. He was like, nah, Volk's going to be he's going to be a problem. And he's right, because Volk's going to be a fucking problem. I think it's going to be a 5-round fight.
Can I ask you I'm curious, do you think Volkanovski is a far superior striker than DeBrunks?
He would not, if it was a striking match, I think he'd knock DeBrunks the fuck out. I'm just being really. Volk would beat DeBrunks in a stand-up fight. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if that's to be true. The reason I bring it up is because people forget already. People are having very short-term memory on how this fight played out, and I know none of us are forgetting. I'm just saying.
No. So here's the problem. So
Islam, Islam landed that head kick and could have finished it however he wanted. I mean, DeBrunks was pretty much out. He was almost out cold at that point when he landed that kick. It wasn't like he could have landed it. He could have finished it with punches. He could have finished it with the submission when he chose the submission because he's a wrestler. I agree with you that I don't think Islam's going to go in there and just try to dominate wrestling because he's not Khabib. He likes to strike. Khabib never really liked to strike. But I do think when in doubt, come the third round, I think Islam's just going to take over. Let's also remember, Islam walks around at over 200. Let's not forget about that. Islam's a fucking huge dude. So if he chooses to wrestle with Volk, who does not walk around at that weight, Volk is going to have some serious issues getting up just off of weight alone.
Here's my thing about Volk. First of all, Volk used to walk around at like he's a big fucking dude. He just cuts to 145. But here's the problem with Volk and with Islam. First of all, I'm gonna tell you about Charles DeBrunks. He did the same shit with Islam that he did with everybody else. When he got clipped with that left hook, Justin Gaethje caught him with that shit. Dustin Poirier caught him with that shit. What's the difference between those fights versus Islam? When Islam rocked his shit, what did Islam do? He got that fucking full mount and put his ass out. That's exactly the difference.
The difference was that it actually landed clean. If you go back and look at those other punches, they landed clean, but he wasn't rocked. No, wait. They landed clean, but he wasn't rocked.
He was rocked.
In this one, he was rocked. He was almost out. When you look at those other fights, he falls and he gets rocked, but he goes right into his guard. He didn't do that.
He did it against Islam. He did it against Dustin Poirier. He did it against Michael Chandler.
He didn't go right into his guard against Islam. He was almost out, dude. He was almost out. That fight could have been finished however Islam wanted it to.
I think you're the only one who thinks Dustin Poirier didn't almost knock him out. I'm gonna just be real, because Dustin Poirier hit him with the fucking bomb. He almost knocked him out. Dustin Poirier just didn't go for top position because they were scared of him. And to be honest, rightfully, because the only person that wasn't scared of him on the ground was Islam, and Islam proved that shit. Because Charles tried to get that little guard shit going on against Islam, and Islam was like, "Bro, that shit ain't popping. Like, it's not gonna happen." So therefore, Islam's a different fighter, and he finished Charles because he's a different fighter. Now, when it comes to Volk, I don't think a lot of that shit's gonna go on, dude. I think it's gonna be one of the stiffest fights you're gonna see of the year when they fight.
I mean, hey, man, I hope you're right, because I don't want Islam to win. I would love Volk to win. It would be a great story for the UFC. It would boost the numbers for Volk's next fight. It would be great for the UFC if Volk won. If Islam wins, it's going to be boring. It's just like it's not going to make any headlines. It's going to be not marketable.
I'm not a fan against this fight because I think Dariush should get his fucking shot. I don't understand why he's getting a super fight. I don't. Why is he getting a super?
You're absolutely right. Dariush should be getting his shot. But he has to defend. But that's a different topic for a different day. We'll talk about it as we get closer to this fight. We have technically only 4 minutes, but we're definitely going over because we have an entire card to talk about. And guys, this card is quietly UFC Orlando is fucking awesome. It is awesome. I can't wait to watch this card. Before we jump right into it, can I just bring up how crazy it is that Tracy Cortez and Amanda Ribas are on the undercard?
That's crazy. What the fuck, man?
Bro, Tracy Cortez so damn fine. I'm gonna just put that out there.
Yo, man, you gotta fight King City for that. You gotta.
I don't give up. I will donkey kick him in his balls, okay? Because Tracy.
But again, can I just? How crazy is it that they're on the prelim?
That is ridiculous, man. Holy shit! This card
not even headlining the prelim. Not even headlining the prelim. They're just on the prelim. And you got Eric Anders, and you guys know I love Kyle Daukaus, but Eric Anders versus Kyle Daukaus. I'd rather see Cortez versus Ribas. I mean, that fight has serious significance and will ripple effects through the entire division. It's crazy. It's just crazy to me. Anyway, let's get started with our first fight, which is the Eric Anders versus Kyle Daukaus. This is a little bit of an odd one for me. I keep forgetting that Eric Anders is even an active fighter in the UFC. And then every once in a while, his name pops up out of nowhere. So, Monique, I'll throw it over to you. What do you think about this fight? Who do you think wins? And do you think this fight, do you think Kyle Daukaus will get back up in his winning ways?
Yeah, I honestly think so. Personally, I don't really like Eric Anders. I used to respect him more, but I just for some reason his fights aren't just as memorable to me, and that's the reason why I'm probably gonna pick Kyle Daukaus to win. Pretty much. I don't know how he's gonna win, but I think he is. I think the better fighter in general. I think Eric Anders just for me just doesn't really do it for me personally, but. And Alec, you never know with the prelims. They might switch it up. You know, they might have Tracy and Amanda in the main. You never know, right? So there you go, right?
They better. Otherwise, I mean, I'll just throw this out there. Dana White has no defense about when he gets called sexist next time for putting this fight on the prelim.
Yeah.
This is purely I can't market women's fighting because I'm Dana White. Anyway. That's a different topic for a different day, too.
Bro, I would tune into that fight just to watch Tracy Cortez walk down the fucking octagon. I don't give a fuck.
Anyway, Dustin, what do you think about Eric Anders versus Kyle Daukaus?
I'm gonna take Daukaus on this period. First of all, he's lost some tough ones, man. It is what it is. I think he can beat Eric Anders, man. It's just, in my opinion, welcome to the fucking new and improved and talented heavyweight division, guy. It's a fucking hell walk to that title right now. It's a hell walk. So, hey man, you got to get through some of these lower guys and get your ass back up to the top. It is what it is. And when you get there, I mean, do better. As it is. I'm a big fan of the guy, though. You just got to do better. When you get to those big guys, man,
You're thinking of his brother. You're thinking of his brother. Dustin. Kyle Dawkins is a smaller one.
Oh, shit, man. I'm thinking of his big brother. That's the only Dawkins I'm familiar with. So I take back what I just said. His little brother, I don't have much to say. But his big brother, I know what it is.
Yeah, Kyle Dawkins is the one that destroyed Damien Pickett and then got destroyed by Roman Dolidze, who's fighting, who we're going to talk about next, because that guy's a monster.
Forgive me. When I hear Dawkins, I'm thinking of the other one.
Oh yeah, his other brother, who's the fastest fat guy in the entire UFC. But I'm gonna go personally with my Philadelphia brethren. Kyle Dawkins is just go out there, represent the city of brotherly love, as you always do, and just get this done. Eric Anders is just he's just a hiccup in the road for you. And Kyle Dawkins is one of those guys who's. And again, I love him. He's my Philadelphia brother, but he's just one of those guys that he'd be better off going to Bellator because he might be champ at Bellator, just straight up. Whereas in the middleweight division in the UFC, he's always going to struggle because the division, it's just becoming stacked. Now you got Bo Nickel coming up. The Hasman might be fighting in the middleweight division permanently coming up. It's just there's killers. There's just killers. So we'll see what happens there. But I think that Kyle Dawkins should pretty much win. All right. Next one is one of the most exciting fights I think of this entire night, other than the main event and the fight after this. You have Jack Hermansson versus Roman Dolidze. I'm gonna start this off. I'm gonna be a little selfish here, guys, and I'm gonna start this off because I've been on this guy Roman Dolidze since his first UFC fight dating back to 2018, I think it was. Yeah, 2018. This guy is just a fucking Georgian monster. Just an absolute terrifying human being. Just the look of him is just stepping in the octagon and then just looking across at him, he just has one of those permanent, I've been living in Georgia my entire life and I'm miserable because of it. Look, he just looks like Hardy. He looks like he's just a monster. Jack Hermansson's a really good fighter, guys, and you guys know I respect the hell out of him. He gets knocked out in the second round.
Hell yeah.
Roman Dolidze is gonna just take it to him, and I don't think, and I know Hermansson can wrestle, but that he's gonna get his shit rocked quick, I think, just because again this Roman Dolidze is just, I can't stress enough. I know he's 34 years old, but after he beats Hermansson, he's going to skyrocket through the ranks. He is. He's going to be right up there with the top other middleweights. He just is. And I think, I don't even know where we are at the UFC rankings with Jack Hermansson. I don't know where he is anymore.
He's one of the tougher veterans, man. He's one of the more stepping stone guys to get up there, to be real.
Yeah. I just don't know what his official ranking is. Let's take a look at it. He's 8th. So if he wins this fight,
I knew he was in the top 10.
Sorry,
He's in the top 10.
If he wins this fight, which I think he does, Dolidze jumps up to 8th, and that puts him in conversations with fighting, Paulo Costa, Derek Brunson, Vettori, Cannonier, Whitaker. Those are the guys he could go up against next after this fight. So I'm excited for this. I think he wins this fight. I think he gets the knockout. Dustin, let's go to you.
This is like I said, this is a veteran fight against a younger up and comer, and it happens all the time. The UFC has a real good track record of it. Damn, I said that weird. Jack Hermansson. that's like a tongue twister. Jack Hermansson. Hermansson is he's a real tough, gritty dude. I've seen his weird fights, and honestly, he's getting better as a striker. Weirdly, in his older age, it's kind of weird. Like I was seeing him actually fight recently, and his striking improved. I was actually pretty impressed the last time I saw Jack Hermanson strike. He's not good enough to beat this dude in striking. I'm just being real. So we'll go ahead. In order for him to win this fight, he'd be real gritty. I think he can take a shot. And Jack Hermanson's a tough guy. He's a wrestling background. So we'll see how much he pressures. I mean, he's gonna have to walk forward against a guy that can knock you the fuck out, at any second. So it's gonna be a weird fight. But I think Jack Hermanson. I think he's gonna lose this one. I'm just being real because I think he's gonna walk forward, and I think this young up and comer bro is gonna put it on him, and I think he's gonna get knocked out. That's just my honest opinion.
Monique.
Yeah, no, I think Jack Hermanson, he's a really tough dude, just like Dustin said. He has that wrestling background, but I just think that his fight IQ is not all there, even though he's won a couple of really cool fights in a weird fashion. But I just think that he's gonna try to walk forward, like Dustin said. He's gonna try to prove to everyone that he can strike as well as everybody else, and then he's just gonna get caught by Roman. So I think that's what's gonna happen. Roman, I've been a fan of for a while now, even though he's just been an up and comer, but I've followed some of his career back then, and I just think he's incredible. I think he should be in the top 8. That should be really fun to see him face like Paulo Costa's, the Robert Whittaker's, all Martin Vettori, things like that. So I think he's gonna win this fight. I think Jack Hermanson's just gonna have like a really bad fight IQ day, and that's just what's gonna happen. So yeah.
All right, we're moving on to what could be the most exciting fight in this on this card. We have Tai Tuivasa versus Sergey Pavlovich. And I'm going to throw this over to Monique because I think I'm going to be really sad when I make my pick. But Monique, what do you think about this one? Sergey's been surging as of late. His only loss comes to Asataro Ibrahim, who was beginning his run at that point when he went on that 5-fight win streak. So there's nothing. I mean, that's what we call a good loss, because that was about 2-3 years ago when he lost to him. And then he gets, Tai Tuivasa, who was just coming off of a huge win streak. And then, we all saw that should be fight of the year Ciryl Gane versus Tai Tuivasa fight. So we'll see how he responds to that. But Monique, what do you think about this fight?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sad too, just because I like Tai Tuivasa just as much as Alec, and it's probably Dustin who likes Tai Tuivasa as well. He's improved so much, and it's made me really proud as a fight fan. But Sergey, he kind of reminds me a little bit of Ciryl Gane, just in terms of the striking part of it. He just reminds me a little bit of that, and that just makes.
And he wrestles.
Yeah, exactly. And he wrestles, which is and Tai Tuivasa just improved his wrestling, but just probably not enough, not to that level of Sergey or of Ciryl Gane or whoever has a wrestling background like that. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to say that Sergey is probably gonna win this fight. He's incredible. He's on a surge right now, and I just think that he's going to do well in this division. And that'd be really cool to see Ciryl Gane versus Sergey one day if that happens. But, in this fight, I think Tai Tuivasa is just not at that level yet, when it comes to striking and wrestling. So there you go. That's my pick.
All right, Dustin, what do you think? You agree? You think Bam Bam's going down?
Of course they'd put my boy against somebody named fucking Sergey. Bro, come on, bro. When you're fucking sitting there waiting for a fight offer and someone mentions Sergey, I'm about to be like, fuck. As soon as I hear the name Sergey, I'm about to be like, man, fuck me, bro. I'm gonna be like, man, I don't want to fight that dude. I love Tua, man. I do, bro. He's a good guy. I'm gonna tell you right now, welcome. This is what you created. You decided to knock out one of the better heavyweights in UFC. You decided to be here in this top 8. You decided to be here, and now look what you did. Now you got to face this fucking monster. Hey, it's your fault. You should have won that fight, I guess. He's gonna lose. I'm just completely honest. He's gonna lose. That's it's outright. He's not winning that fight. He's not winning that fight. Sergey's about to whoop his ass. I'm just gonna.
Yeah. You guys know I've been talking about Sergey Pavlovich for quite some time. He's been in the UFC since 2015. He went on a surge when he first came in and then lost to Alistair Overeem and then hasn't lost since. He's on a 4-fight win streak. This is a guy that can knock out Derek Lewis and also, submit Shamil. I mean, not Shamil, but can also take you down to the ground and submit you. Sergey Pavlovich is, after he beats Tai Tuivasa, is gonna be one of the guys that's next in line for a contender, number one contender spot. I mean, this guy is he's terrifying. He's a giant Russian, first of all, like just a giant Russian. Like he just is. He's out of Rocky. He just is. He's just a giant fucking Russian dude. 6'4". Like it's just ridiculous. He's got an 84-inch reach, which puts him right there next to Francis Ngannou, and Cyril Gane. He's an excellent kickboxer. He's got power for days, and he knows how to use it. I love Bam Bam. I love him. He's my top 3 favorite fighters. I love Bam Bam so much. And watching him, like Monique said, it's like I'm a proud fan. Like, watching him get so much better was so much fun. And then they put him against Cyril Gane. And you guys remember how upset I was when that fight was announced, because I was just like, can't he just fight Derek Lewis over and over and over again?
Don't forget, he knocked Cyril Gane as an ass. Bro.
Yeah, he did rock him, but after he rocked him, he got his ass whooped for the rest of the fight.
Okay. Why do you gotta bring up old shit?
And so Sergey Pavlovich is just he's got the conditioning, he's got the wrestling, he's got the striking. That being said, Bam Bam always has a puncher's chance. Always, because he can sleep you by breathing on you. So don't absolutely count him out, because he can put people to sleep. We saw it with Derek Lewis. We saw it over and over and over again when he kept winning when he was supposed to lose up to Cyril Gane. All right, we got to move on. Sergey Pavlovich is probably going to win, and then he'll fight Cyril Gane, and whoever wins that gets the next title shot, probably is what's going to happen. All right, we're moving on. We have I don't know how to say his name. I think it's Mateus Nicolau versus Matt Schnell. I have an issue with this fight. I don't know why it's happening here. This is an undercard fight. Like, why is this above Sergey versus Bam Bam? Why is this?
It's gonna change. It's gonna change.
It's better.
Yeah.
Because Ribas versus Cortez, that's an embarrassment to the UFC to have that on a prelim, and this as the second to co-main event. Like, this is fucking stupid. I almost don't even want to comment on it. Matt Schnell is one of the most overrated, most loved fighters for no reason. Everybody loves him. I don't understand about it. Brandon Royval absolutely annihilated him. What are we talking about here? This is Matt Schnell, one of the most inconsistent fighters to date. Whenever he steps up in talent, he fucking loses. Why are we here right now, guys? Why, why can't we have a card that's just scheduled 100% right? They got so close on this one. So close, and then they just fuck it up and put this one next to the co-main. I'm not even picking a winner, because this is just stupid. Fuck this fight. Dustin, let's go to you.
This is one of the fights they dissed my second wife for. This is crazy. I'm gonna be real. They dissed my second wife for this bullshit. No one gives a fuck about Schnell. First of all, I don't even want to comment on it, because what am I supposed to say?
Yeah.
Like, this feels like a filler fight. This is some shit like on Izzy's pay-per-view card. I feel like this should have been on like the early prelims. Like, I should have been able to watch that shit like 5 o'clock. So you tell me what Dana does, man. I don't know. You tell me, because I don't get it.
I mean, I will say this: Mateus he's a young, up and coming fighter. He's on a huge fight win streak. He's on going back to Brave FC on like a 5-fight win streak. He beat Manuel Kopp when he wasn't supposed to, which he beat Manuel Kopp. Like he didn't. Anyone who watched that fight is like, how the fuck did that even end up in a split decision? Manuel destroyed him. And then beats Tim Elliott and David Vorak. So, like, it's not like Mateus isn't good. It's just this fight is not deserving of its placement in the card, especially when you have two of the top women's fighters right now.
Okay, but that's what we're talking about. I'm not saying it's not like something good, but it's right under a co-main. Like, it's right under a co-main. Like that. That's not. No, it shouldn't be there.
Anyway, Monique, let's move on to you about this stupid fucking fight.
Yeah, no, I think it's stupid. I swear, guys, don't you worry. Dana's gonna fix it. He's gonna put Tracy on the fucking main card. I have a feeling that's gonna happen. So don't you worry about that. Don't you worry, Dustin. You will see your second wife come out on the main card. So it's gonna happen. And I just think that Mateus, like, it's just I don't like Matt Schnell. Like you said, he's very overrated. He's very inconsistent. Brandon Royval, who's one of our favorite fighters, just annihilated him. So like, why is he even on this main card? So obviously, I'm not gonna pick him to win this fight. But I have a feeling, guys. Don't you worry. Like I said, the girls are gonna come out, and they're gonna come out on the main card. So I think that's gonna happen. Personally.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Anyway, let's get to the co-main because we are way over our time now. RDA versus Bryan Barberena. I just wish RDA would just stop, dude. Just retire, man.
I know.
Do it. Just retire. I know you still got some left in the tank, but I don't want to see you lose to Bryan Barberena because you are too important. Your legacy is too important to the UFC to tarnish by losing to guys like Bryan Barberena. And I gotta tell you, he might lose this fight. I think RDA is gonna win. I do. I think he's gonna win. I still think he's the better fighter than Bryan Barberena. But Bryan Barberena is no joke. He's coming off a 3-fight win streak. He's like, granted, it's against Darren Weeks, Matt Brown, and Robbie Lawler, but he is coming off a 3-fight win streak, and RDA should beat him. He should beat him. He's gonna beat him. I'm gonna manifest it, guys. He's gonna beat him. But real quick comment: Sergey Pavlovich versus Tai Tuivasa should be the co-main. Anyway, Monique, go ahead. What do you think about this fight?
Yeah, okay, this is the thing with RDA. Like, I always get my hopes up with him, and then because he goes on this, like, little win streak, or he wins the title, or whatever it is, and then all of a sudden he just disappoints me, and, like, I'm hoping this is not one of those cases. Like I said, I manifested too. I think he's going to win against Bryan Barberena. I think he's the better fighter, but like I said, he just kind of disappoints me. Like, his career is, like, really disappointed me in, like, certain moments, and so I just don't want to be disappointed again. So we'll see.
Yeah, and Fiziev just outclassed him, if we're being honest.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
He just did. I mean, and listen, Fiziev is a fucking monster who's going to be a constant contender, probably champion. I could see him donating the belt at one point, maybe not for a long time, but
he's not beating Islam, bro. That's not.
I could see. Let me rephrase that. I could see him getting an interim belt. Because let's be honest, the 155 division is notorious for one thing: it's interim belts. Because you guys still know that technically the last true champion, if you trace back the actual championship belts, so the meaning it didn't go from interim to full-time champ. Do you know who it is? It's Conor McGregor.
Of course.
Conor McGregor is the last guy to win the 155 division off of another champion. Anyway, just a fun fact. So what do you think about this one, Dustin?
Well, first of all, everybody has like this huge love for RDA. You know what I think RDA is? Nothing but a shiny trophy on someone's resume. That's what he is. That's what he is. I don't give a fuck what you say. He's a shiny trophy on someone's fucking resume, Alec. I don't care what you say. He is not He is not what you think this man is. He is a shining trophy on everybody's resume. That's all he is. He became a UFC champion once. Yes, I get it. But let's be honest here. Let's be honest here. He's a shiny trophy for the young guys to beat. He's like Donald Cerrone. He's getting there. He's getting there. You're a shiny little trophy. Someone can put on their little shit and say, I beat his ass. He was once a great fighter, but I beat his ass. That's what RDA is. That's what Donald Cerrone is. And that's what a lot of fighters are. And RDA is in that club.
Can I just say what his greatest mistake was? He should have never gone up to the welterweight division. Never. Never. He had no business being up there. Sorry, Dustin. You didn't make a pick. Well, go ahead. Make your pick.
He had no business. I think he's going to lose. I never bet on RDA. I wouldn't bet. If I was a rich dude and I had like $250 million in the bank, I wouldn't bet $5 on RDA. I'm sorry. I can't. Nope.
If he loses, he should retire. He should just retire.
He retired a long time ago. Like it's not even a debate. He should have fucking hung it up a long time ago. He's a shiny trophy on resumes. That's all he is.
All right, let's get on to the main event of the evening. We got one of our favorites, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, fighting Dustin's favorite, Kevin Holland.
Fuck Kevin Holland.
Like Kevin Holland or not, this fight is going to be exciting, and the UFC fucking knows that. You got two guys who are just going to try to kickbox. And what's interesting about this is that Kevin Holland, I know you're gonna scream at me, Dustin. Kevin Holland does have that black belt to fall on. Where
how well has that fucking worked out in every other goddamn fight? How well has that black belt worked out?
It works great against Tim Means.
Oh, Tim Means. Yeah. Good fucking point, Alex. Good point. You got me. You got me, Alex. Tim Means. Shit. I can't debate this at
all right, let's get serious, guys. Come on. This is a serious stream. We're a serious fight podcast. I gotta say, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, you guys know he's one of my favorites of all time. How can you not like him? He's the nice guy. There's all these jokes going around that Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is just a serial killer in disguise, which I think is just hilarious. Someone should make a TV show about that. That would be really funny. He's coming off some big losses. So I don't know who to pick in this fight. We've seen Kevin Holland's knockout power. We've seen it. It's ridiculous. We've seen it. That being said, and I'm talking myself into the Wonder Boy because I really want to see him win. So I'm being totally biased here. That being said, I think Wonder Boy's too smart. I think Kevin Holland's never fought a striker who's as smart as Wonder Boy. Which is going to be the hardest thing. It's very, very hard to see Wonder Boy get out IQ'd. Even in his losses, like you go back to the Bilal loss, he didn't get out IQ'd in that fight. He didn't. He just didn't. He just got outclassed, which happens. But his fight IQ is still there. He just can't. He can't do anything when you're able to get Wonder Boy against the cage, which is what Bilal was able to do, which is not easy to do. So I'm giving credit to Bilal Muhammad in that. You can beat him. If you try to stand up with him and throw and exchange, the only person that I remember seeing be able to outstrike and outthrow and outclass without getting lucky, Wonderboy Thompson, is Darren Till. Darren Till was able to beat him at his own game.
Anthony Pettis? Anthony Pettis? You sure? You want to go rewatch that?
I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. I mean, I'm looking at the knockout. What I'm talking about is just pure. Sure, maybe I can give you that one. But Wonder Boy is two people. So two people. Still, two people. He's 38 years old. That's fucking saying something. I don't think Kevin Holland can do that. I don't think he's that level of striker. I don't think he's there. That being said, if he manages to land a clean shot on him, it's going to be dangerous for him. But I think Wonder Boy wins this by unanimous decision. Dustin, what do you think?
Well, I feel like about Kevin Holland, like I feel like the Michigan Wolverines. So I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not voting for y'all to win shit. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not picking Kevin Holland. I don't give a fuck. I really don't care. I'm picking Wonder Boy straight up. I hope that Wonder Boy sends him back in retirement so I can stop hearing his I can stop seeing him. That's my big thing. I hope that he beats him so I can stop seeing him. Maybe Kevin Holland go to PFL. I'll watch him there for free. I'm cool with that.
It's not free anymore though. It's not free anymore.
Championships aren't. Kevin Holland's not gonna make it there anyway. I mean, let's just be honest. So it's no, fuck Kevin. No. I'm picking Stephen Thompson. He's a better striker than Kevin Holland, first of all. That's just knowing. And Kevin Holland has no takedowns, and his black belt only works against, like, he could probably submit me. I mean, I'll give him that. Submit me. But when it comes to UFC, for some reason, he has this block with that jiu-jitsu background. And Stephen Thompson's not taking him down. And Kevin Holland's not shooting. So I'm going to go ahead and give that to Stephen Thompson.
Monique?
Yeah, you know how Dustin has his second wife in Tracy Cortez? Well, Wonder Boy was always going to be my second husband, just saying that. So ever since I laid eyes on him a long time ago. But anyways, point blank, I think he's going to win. Just like Alex said, you took the words right out of my mouth. He has the better, smarter fight IQ than Holland. Holland has made so many mistakes in the octagon. Of course, he's won. He's had that amazing streak in the beginning, but it's not against high level strikers like Wonder Boy. And I think that Wonder Boy is just going to know how to distance himself away from the strikes that Holland's going to try to do. And I just don't think that Holland's going to pressure him enough, and Wonder Boy's just gonna circle around the octagon and land his strikes, and he's gonna win. So and it's it's sad because I don't think Wonder Boy will ever really get close to a title match now, just because the welterweight division is really it's really tough. But it's just I like to see him win, so I think he's gonna win this match.
Can I add one more comment? I'm gonna go back to my beloved Islam. And I'm gonna say, who give him black belt? You ain't heard that yet, dude? Islam is the funniest person, dude. He really started talking.
Yeah, no, I heard that, but we all know Kevin Holland has a real black belt. Let's be honest, we all know he has it.
No, we're going back to Islam. Who give him black belt? Who give him black belt?
All right, guys, we're done. We're way over time. My fiance's gonna scream at me when we get back home. Real quick, just a follow up. Thank you guys. We're so glad to be back this week. We'll be back next week. Our next card is December 10th, which had a cancellation in Yuri versus Glover. Let's let's take a moment and say, Yuri, please get better soon. I'm still
salty about that.
Yeah, I know, man. It's still sad. I've been remembering it throughout the day, throughout the days, and just been like, oh man, Yuri's out for a year. Apparently, he thinks he can make it back in 6 months, which usually means we're never going to see the same Yuri we ever saw before, because he's going to rush back and injure it again. Anyway,
the whole Thiago Moreta, I feel like it's gonna be like that. I have a bad feeling about it.
I hope not. Yuri's better than Thiago ever was, though. That's what makes it sad. Yuri had a chance of making a long reign. Anyway, but even with that cancellation, we got UFC 282 December 10th. The card is fucking awesome with the main event being canceled still. It's Jan Blachowicz versus Magomed, Paddy Pimblett versus Derek Gordon, Robbie Lawler versus Santiago Ponzinibbio, Darren Till versus Drixus Duplessis, Bryce Mitchell versus Ayla Topira. This card is awesome. I can't wait to watch that racist piece of shit Bryce Mitchell get his ass kicked. It's going to be so much fun. So guys, please tune in. Christian tuned in right before we leave. All right, guys, we got to check out of here. Thank you so much, and happy fight week.
You don't get to end the show with Christian talking shit. Hey, fuck the Trojans, Christian.
I'm hitting that button.